Marcus Aurelius once said, we need to set limits to comfort and consumption. And that is more important now than ever in this modern world. We have very smart people biting for our time, distractions left, right, and center. And there are two paths in life we have to choose from. The ones of distraction, of vices, or the one of freedom. And this is what I'd like to talk about in this video. What you need to do to pick the right path in life for you. Because the most important thing to remember is you do you. The path of freedom. There are two paths, and every single day and every single minute we have constant choices. The ones of distraction, away from our dreams, the ones of false promises, the ones of procrastination, the ones of just failed potential. And there's another path, and that path is the path of discipline, self-discipline, self-control. We need to make wiser choices if we want to get to where we want to go. Vices in general have issues. So there is dopamine in our brain, right? And that pulls us into doing some really bad habits. That could be things like chronically smoking weed. That could be cocaine up a stripper's ass. That could be video games for 18-hour sessions and show up late for work. That could be overspending. That could be sitting there doom scrolling through social media in general and wasting valuable time. And we end up walking away from these situations and we have a sense of shame and we're like, oh God, why do I keep doing this? And the answer is it's not necessarily your fault. There are very smart people that are using our own brains against us, our own survival instinct against us. And we do have a choice. First, we need to be aware that there is a problem. Seneca once said, we are all slaves. And that is so relevant to today. And he wasn't talking about like slaves with shackles and chains, but metaphorically he was. We're all slaves to our vices, and we have to take self-ownership, self-discipline, self-control to overcome that. Now, I've tried many different paths with this. I've tried abstinence, pure monk mode. I've tried dopamine detoxes. I've definitely tried the path of just not giving a fuck and letting myself go into these vices, and that was definitely not a happily ever after. I propose another path, one of moderation. And how that's done is with a choice to say, I will eat that pizza today, but tomorrow I will have to cook myself some food. That is, I will indulge in my vice today, but tomorrow I won't. And that's really hard to do because tomorrow never comes. Procrastination will keep popping up and saying like, oh, tomorrow's gonna come, tomorrow's gonna come. So you have to have rules in yourself. You have to self-parent yourself. And that is the self-control part. You have to be your own parent. You have to be your own big brother. You have to take ownership over the choices you make. Let's use cannabis as an example. I really tried moderating that. Eventually I realized I was better off without it. But to get to that point, I had to make rules for myself, like a parent. So I had this saying of the first day was introspection. It always made me anxious. I would get really in my head. I would have to write. I would get a different perspective on my problems. It was actually quite productive. The second day would be fun. And I would just kind of sloth around, and that's when I would just watch the stupid movies and laze in the sun and just not really be productive. And that's definitely the day where it's like, I'm gonna have a pizza today. I just can't be asked to cook. Productivity down. Day 3, always a mistake. And it took me years to form that 3-rule process. Because as soon as I did it on day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, weeks, months, years of chronic use. Now, I've tried this approach on different things, so like video games, and there's a very important thing to understand here is if there is no end goal, and the end goal is so open, think World of Warcraft, EverQuest, where there's no end. You will constantly chase dopamine. You will constantly be fixed to this until you arrive at a destination you're never going to arrive at. This is the moderation part. It's really hard because our brain suddenly finds this game more interesting than reality. Self-control goes out the window. Discipline, a really hard thing to control because instant gratification is at our fingertips. Real life, things take time. There is no kill 2 rats and gain a level. It might take, hopefully you ain't killing rats in real life, but it might take, 10,000 hours to be a master at something, right? 10 years otherwise. There is a monolithic amount of time required. So when we have them daily choices, we have to be wise on the path we walk. We have to be like, I don't really know how to cook, as an example. So it's much easier for me to order takeaways, right? Or I spend 30 minutes every single day at dinner cooking, and that's more important because over time it takes less time because I've learned what ingredients do what. I've learned how to make pasta. I've learned the spices that make it taste like this. On top of that, at the end result, I have something that I created that I can be like, I'm proud of what I've done here. Over time, you gain a valuable skill, a life skill. Ordering that takeaway is an immediate fix, but it doesn't address the underlying issue. I don't know how to cook, right? Instant gratification, delayed gratification. 2 paths. You have to pick wisely. One life. We all have 24 hours. What we do with that time is very important. Discipline equals freedom. Simple to say, deep meaning. When I came across this saying, I was at the worst point of my life. I was at the rock bottom of rock bottoms. I came across a podcast, Jocko Willink. His motto, discipline equals freedom. And once you understand what that means, that is the embodiment of temperance. That is the embodiment of self-discipline. My life's pretty good compared to where it was. And it's not like I won the lottery. It's not like anything drastic changed. It was the daily little habits and the little course corrections. It's the discipline that made the difference. It's the discipline that avoided the homelessness. It's the discipline that avoided so many issues. It was taking a moment to pause and reflect and realize that every time I pointed at someone, there was 3 fingers pointing back at me. I was responsible for a lot of my own suffering. I was responsible for the reason I didn't have enough money to live. I was responsible for my bad health. I was responsible for not having enough time. Discipline equals freedom is the answer to your freedom. And it's not like a light switch moment. It changes with time. It changes with gradual choices. It changes when you decide enough is enough and you take responsibility for your life. It's been Jason here from You Do You. If you've enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and comment away. I'll catch you next time.